Teen Diaries TV. I'm your host, Aeshia DeVore Branch, and in this episode of I Want Her Job, I'm interviewing a woman who went from a part-timer in radio to an executive in the broadcast and music industries, and now she's entertaining the largest radio listening audience in the world. Come follow me as we meet Helen Little. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful.
Well, can you tell our audience just basically what you do?
Well, I'm on air at 106.7 Lite FM, and it is the largest radio audience of any radio station, actually in the world, not even just America. So I come on at 9:30 and I'm on till 3 o'clock, and I reach the largest listening audience of any station, any time of day, anywhere in the world. So basically I play songs and entertain the listeners, give them information about the weather and what's going on in town and what's going on in entertainment, and play their favorite songs. And we play a wonderful mix of music, which is what I really like about the station.
That's exciting. Is that something you always wanted to do as a teenager, did you know?
Actually, before I was a teenager. I mean, as a little girl, I was fascinated with the radio to the point that my sisters and brothers teased me about it. And music is really what attracted me to the radio station. But I spent countless hours listening to radio, and when I got to college, actually I started out researching. I wanted to research sleep when I was a freshman in college.
Really?
Classes were too hard.
Research sleep, that's amazing, okay.
I wanted to know what happens in your head when you went to sleep at night.
Ah, okay.
The classes were very challenging, and I went to my advisor. She said, well, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I'm like, well, I'm 18. I want to have fun.
Right.
And she's like, well, think about a job you want. I'm like, job? I don't want a job. So I went home for fall break, and a high school friend of mine worked at a radio station. And I went in and I saw all the equipment, and it was like very intimidating. And I said, is this hard? He's like, no, not at all. He says, it's really easy. I said, well, do you like it? He said, I love doing it. So I came back, I switched my major. I was fortunate to get a job in my junior year working at a radio station. And I've been doing radio ever since then.
You said you started out wanting to study sleep. That's crazy. Yes. Now you're in radio. But is that something that you would do if you couldn't be in this industry?
No. I don't have the same fascination. I still do have a fascination with sleep. I don't have the same fascination, but I realize I need to be in a creative type of work environment. My job needs to be creative. I do like statistics and learning and strategy, but I really need to, I excel when I'm in an opportunity to be creative. So I would be doing something else creative. Actually, to combine creativity and science, I'd be interested in maybe designing and building cars.
Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So, along this journey to getting to where you are today, were there any mistakes you think you made on the way that you want to warn people about?
Well, I think that every mistake has a purpose. Sometimes they're there to teach you, to learn from. The idea is not to make the same mistake more than twice. I would say at one point, the one mistake I might have made is I quit a job that I had when I was in radio very early in my career. That's the hotline. Quit a job early in my career in radio. I was working 7 to midnight, and all my friends went out at night, and I was, working. So I was like, okay, well, let me find something that I can do that will enable me to still hang out with my friends. So I thought I got a job selling advertising, but I didn't do enough investigation about the company, and it turns out I was selling encyclopedias door to door. So I ate a little humble pie, and I went ahead and went through with it, and after 2 weeks I came home to my mom's house and was like, I need to find another job, and I didn't have the tenacity, the gall, the nerve to go back to the radio station and ask for my old job back after 2 weeks. I was much too afraid to do that. Doors opened other places, and I was able to get back into it at another station. But that's probably the one thing, as someone just getting started in the work field, not really knowing what I was signing up for next before I got rid of the job that I had, and for the wrong reasons.
So you mentioned that from 7 to 12 you were at work, and so that's a major sacrifice that you would have to make being so young. Like, what are sacrifices you even have to make now in your career?
You know, it has a balance. There are sacrifices. Most of my career, I worked weekends and holidays.
Okay.
I will never forget the first time they told me I was working on Thanksgiving. I cried. My entire family went to my grandmother's house and had the big meal, and at that time I was working 3 to 7, which was when everybody was having dinner.
Exactly.
And I remember coming in, I'm like, what do you mean I got to work on Thanksgiving? And he's like, radio is a 24-hour job. You know, who's gonna be on if you're at dinner? You know, this is welcome to the business.
Right.
And that was a tough pill to swallow. So for years I worked holidays, weekends. I never worked on Christmas.
That's good.
But I've worked on every other holiday except for Christmas. And, you know, it just became a part of the fabric of the job.
Gotcha.
You know, I just accepted it. Strange hours, but good hours.
Okay.
You know,
What's strange?
Like coming to work at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's...
Or coming to work at midnight and work until 6 o'clock in the morning. And I lived in an apartment, and there were a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old that lived just above me. And every morning at 7 o'clock, they start screaming, so I never got any sleep. So you had odd hours and low pay, but I loved what I did, so the money wasn't an issue for me. It was my dream, so I followed it. It was my passion, so I rode with it. You know, there were many times I was living with relatives because I couldn't afford to live on my own. So that was fortunate while I built my career, and it paid off in the long run because I worked from a small AM station in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, all the way up to New York City, which is the largest market, and I have the largest audience. So, you know, I stuck with my dream.
That is very inspiring. So if you can give everyone out there who wants to be like you a word of advice, what could you say to them?
Well, the one thing I would say is be like you.
Okay.
That's the first thing. I think a lot of people, I want to be the next Oprah Winfrey, or I want to be the next Beyonce. Be the next Helen.
Exactly.
Be the next Aeshia. And, you know, be the next who you are. Find out what you're passionate about. What you're passionate about, you would do for free or for very little money. And it'll never feel like work to you. It'll always feel like I'm doing something I'm enjoying, and someone just happens to give me a check.
Exactly.
And you'll find that you'll work hard at it, and it won't feel like you're working hard at it. So find out what your true passion is. Tap into the things that motivate you. I was motivated at 18 by fun. I'm still motivated by fun. I also learned about myself, I'm motivated by a sense of accomplishment. You know, when I would come home with a good report card and my parents would say, we're proud of you, that made me feel good. And I wanted to feel that over and over again. So that drove me to make good grades, to do well, because I wanted to hear people say, you did good.
Exactly.
You're doing good.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure you're going to inspire many young girls out there. And just keep doing what you're doing and, you know, keep inspiring more.
Thank you.